Do you welcome this investigation by the Inspector General of the Justice Department, or from your perspective, is it too late?
Well, Wolf, thanks for having me. We do welcome this. I certainly welcome it. We expressed deep concerns during the campaign, as you know, that what Director Comey did was not just inappropriate, it was a breach of long-standing Justice Department protocol, both to editorialize about what he thought about Secretary Clinton, rather than just saying he was not recommending that the investigation move forward. And, of course, the letters were completely inappropriate. The fact that he sent a letter to Congress saying he may have some information, he wasn't sure, and lo and behold, a few days later came back and said, I don't have anything there. And so I'm glad that someone has finally spoken up and is looking into this. And, you know, we look forward to seeing what the findings are. The election is over now, and this is the time to step back and ask ourselves what we can do to make our democratic process work better. And I think what's disturbing to me, and what should be disturbing to all Americans, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, or independents, is that we saw unprecedented interventions over the course of this campaign from the FBI, but also, frankly, from Russia. And no American should be okay with interventions by our government officials or certainly by foreign powers to try and doing things that might have some undue influence on the outcome of the election. The leaks that were coming left and right from the FBI were so slanted against Hillary Clinton. Director Comey also claimed that he needed to send that letter to the Hill because he was worried it would leak out. Well, we can't punish candidates because of the bad behavior, the improper and unprofessional behavior of bureaucrats. It's just unacceptable.
Former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says he will devote himself to achieving a unity in South Korea. Speaking at a televised press conference, Ban said the country should end internal divisions, including wealth inequality and ideological and regional conflicts. 72-year-old Ban has not said that he will stand as a candidate in the next presidential election, but he's widely regarded as one of the most powerful contenders.
There's a Talmudic saying that says, what comes from the heart enters the heart. Mr. President, you have creeped into our heart, you and your whole family, including Mom, and you occupy it. It's an amazing thing that happened. I knew how smart you were. I knew how honorable you were. I knew how decent you were from the couple years we worked in the Senate. And I knew what you were capable of. But I never fully expected that you'd occupy the Biden's heart, from Hunter, Ashley, my sister, all of us. All of us. And, Mr. President, I'm indebted to you. I'm indebted to your friendship. I'm indebted to your family. And I'll tell you, I'll end on a humorous note. We're having lunches, and mostly, and it's whatever in either one of our minds. We talk about family an awful lot. And about 6 months in, the president looked at me and said, you know, Joe, you know what surprised me? How we've become such good friends. And I said, surprised you? But that is candid Obama. And it's real. And Mr. President, you know, as long as there's a breath in me, I'll be there for you. My whole family will be, and I know it is reciprocal. And I want to thank you all so very, very, very much. All of you for being here.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, you've got a problem. He is as good a man as God ever created. So, Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans, for your love of country, and for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage. For the final time as president, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And for the first and only time in my presidency, I will bestow this medal with an additional level of veneration, an honor my three most recent successors reserved for only three others: Pope John Paul II, President Ronald Reagan, and General Colin Powell. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction to my brother, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr.
The Chinese President Xi Jinping and the General Secretary of the Vietnamese Communist Party, Nguyen Phu Trong, have agreed to further promote the comprehensive strategic partnership between both countries. President Xi said he is glad to see a sound development of relations between Beijing and Hanoi, and added that both countries should strengthen exchanges and deepen cooperation at various levels. Nguyen said it is in the interests of both countries to maintain their traditional friendship. This year marks the 67th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Vietnam.
Well, award season is in full swing. We've had the Golden Globes complete. Hollywood is all about the race to the Oscars what films will be honored at this year's Academy Awards. So I asked our special guest to join me for today's bubble, Sesame Street. You guys are going Hollywood, and you've got your own picks. You guys have been paying very close attention to who should be picking up a movie award.
That's true.
Elmo, I understand you're a big movie watcher. What's your favorite?
Oh, well, Elmo's favorite movie is La 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 Land.
You do love to sing, don't you, fella?
Yes, Elmo does.
Elmo loves to sing.
That's
And did you
true.
sing along to the whole soundtrack?
Absolutely.
How about you, Cookie? What's the performance that you were watching?
Oh, well, my favorite movie was Manchester by the letter C.
That's a good one.
Because
that makes
C
sense.
is for
Cookie.
right.
Yes. Right.
Okay. All right.
That's
So,
my favorite.
Grover, I imagine that you had something you lined up as your favorite.
My favorite is what is the name? It's Knock something animals. Nocturnal animals.
Nocturnal
no,
Animals.
that's not it. It was a funny movie. Knock joke animals. That's it. That's it. Yes. Yeah. Hilarious.
I feel like you guys maybe saw some different movies in Hollywood than I saw this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like I saw very different movies. Nocturnal Animals, Manchester by the Sea,
Never heard of
and
them.
La La Land. Never heard of any of them? Okay, well then let me ask you this. Who would you take to the Oscars if you're getting all dudded up in your tuxedo?
Oh, well, that is an easy question. My mommy.
Your mommy.
Yeah.
Oh, she'd love to go with you, wouldn't she?
Yes.
And how about you, Cookie? Who would you take to the Oscars as your date?
Me would take me grandmama.
I love that, Elmo.
That's right. Oh, well, Elmo would like to take, let's see. Oh, Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch, he would be a questionable date. I think that
That's a
you'd have
surprise
to.
answer.
It's a surprise answer.
Lots of comments on people's attire.
That-
He's very interesting.
I think they are very interesting, and they have a lot of things to say. Well, you guys have a great take on Hollywood. I think we need more of your types in Hollywood than, you know what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
Neither do I.
Not sure.
You can catch new episodes of Sesame Street's 47th season. Congratulations! Every Saturday on HBO. And, of course, you can watch Sesame Street every day on HBO Family and PBS Kids. Thanks for giving us a little help in the bubble today, fellas.
Thank you, Michaela.
Come back and visit soon.
Yes.
Mwah. How about you?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Barack Obama. I've got my chief economist, Jason Furman, here. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's been happening with the economy over the last year, and I've got a little handy chart. The census did a report that they just issued today, and it gives you a sense of what has been happening for American families over the last year. And one of the biggest highlights is that incomes went up 5.2%. This is actually the largest jump year over year in incomes since 1968. And the good news is that it went up for everybody, all income groups, except those at the very, very top, all races, genders. What also happened was that the pay gap between men and women closed, so that although women are still only getting 80 cents for every dollar a man makes, that's actually a smaller gap than we've ever seen. We also saw a huge drop in poverty year over year, the biggest since 1968. And so overall what this does is it paints a picture of an economy that is improving, that is reducing poverty, and is increasing incomes. And this is all a consequence of some of the smart economic policies that we've been putting in place over the last several years. So I want Jason to make sure that I didn't say anything wrong. Was that fairly accurate, Jason?
Yes, it was, Mr. President. I mean, you have to understand these data for economists. It's the most comprehensive picture we get of how the American people are doing. For us, this is like the Super Bowl. I've watched the last 21 of these, and I haven't seen a better one. This is exactly what you want to see. Record income growth for everyone, the largest declines in poverty since 1968. You know, the declines in poverty for African Americans, Hispanics, and children were even larger than the declines for the population as a whole.
Right. And the good news is that the income growth was most significant for folks at the bottom and the middle, and for women. And all that indicates that we're trying to create the kind of inclusive economy that will ensure more growth over the future. Now, that doesn't mean that our job is done. There's still a lot of folks who are hurting out there. There's so much more we could be doing to grow the economy even faster. If we were implementing some of our proposals for big infrastructure to put folks in hard hats to work and rebuild our economy, if we were investing in clean energy more aggressively than we're doing, and if we are raising productivity, raising minimum wages, a whole set of proposals that we put forward, we could be doing even better. But what this does indicate is that we're on the right path, and it's important that we stay on that right path going forward. Anything you want to add, Jason?
No, I mean, this is just income gains across the income spectrum, the largest at the bottom. You know, we were in a deep hole from decades of increased inequality, but we're digging out of that hole, digging out of it rapidly, and you've just laid out some of the policies that would make that even faster.
All right, so this is a big deal, and this is one of the reasons why it's important for everybody to stay focused on the policy debates that are going to be taking place. I know it's election season, but I think it's important for us to remember that ultimately the test of policies is results. What do they actually deliver for people? And over the last year and over the last 7.5 years, what we've seen is the economy getting better for ordinary folks. And that's been my goal throughout my presidency. All right? Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the new season of Celebrity Apprentice.
Donald Trump, who created The Celebrity Apprentice, he came out and he tweeted that the show's ratings weren't as good as when he was on. What were you guys all thinking when he tweeted that?
Well, I don't follow him, so this is the first time I'm hearing about it. But I mean, personally for me, I think we killed it. Everyone just enjoyed the show, so ratings or not, it was a good experience for me.
Do you think that someone who's about to be the president of the United States should be tweeting about Celebrity Apprentice ratings?
I mean, I could just say that for our next president, he should worry about what's going on in our country and not a television show. So I think it's a little weird. So I just hope eventually, once he gets into office, that he focuses on what he should be focusing on and not reality TV.
Like, someone should take away his Twitter, maybe?
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't yet. Like, for real. Don't you have a team? I mean, it's kind of guilty pleasure, but then you think, oh my God, he's actually our president.
If he tweeted you or tweeted at you, would you respond?
Depends what he tweets.
If it wasn't very nice.
No, I'd block him.
If you are confirmed to lead HUD, you'll be responsible for issuing billions of dollars in grants and loans to help develop housing and provide a lot of housing-related services. Now, housing development is an area in which President-elect Trump and his family have significant business interests. Can you assure me that not a single taxpayer dollar that you give out will financially benefit the president-elect or his family?
Well, Senator, I was worried that you wouldn't get back. Thank you for coming back.
I'm back.
I can assure you that the things that I do are driven by a sense of morals and values. And therefore, I will absolutely not play favorites for anyone.
Dr. Carson, let me stop right there. I'm actually trying to ask a more pointed question, and it's not about your good faith. That's not my concern. My concern is whether or not, among the billions of dollars that you will be responsible for handing out in grants and loans, can you just assure us that not $1 will go to benefit either the president-elect or his family?
It will not be my intention to do anything to benefit any American.
I understand that.
It's for all Americans,
But
everything that we do.
Do I take that to mean that you may manage programs that will significantly benefit the president-elect?
You can take it to mean that I will manage things in a way that benefits the American people. That is going to be the goal.
To the best you understand that.
If there happens to be an extraordinarily good program that's working for millions of people, and it turns out that someone that you're targeting is going to gain, $10 from it, am I going to say, no, the rest of you Americans can't have it? I think logic and common sense probably would be the best way.
Yeah, although we do have a problem here, and I appreciate your good faith in this, and I do, Dr. Carson. The problem is that you can't assure us that HUD money, not of $10 varieties, but of multi-million-dollar varieties, will not end up in the president-elect's pockets. And the reason you can't assure us of that is because the president-elect is hiding his family's business interests from you, from me, from the rest of America.
Part of the reason that I wanted to do this farewell address in Chicago as opposed to the more traditional practice of doing it in the Oval Office or here in the White House is Chicago's where it all started. So I'll be thinking back to being a young community organizer, pretty much fresh out of school, and feeling as if my faith in America's ability to bring about change and our democracy has been vindicated. The two things I take away from this office are, number one, that change can happen, that the system will respond to ordinary to try to move the country in a better direction. And the second thing I'll take away from this experience is the fundamental goodness of the American people, all of whom are pouring their heart and soul into making their communities work better, supporting their families, moving this country forward, keeping us safe. It gives you a lot of confidence about our prospects for the future.